4 to 6 sort of stage range for the plagues here. Probably not any 4Ks unless the survivors on either team make a significant amount of mistakes. This is, of course, Lirasanmarine's pick, so they will be going first. So they must be confident on it. And then we have KaitOkids' pick of the Hillbilly afterwards on Blood Lodge. And if it comes down to it, we'll be going to the gas heaven with the Blight. That seems to always get picked, or at least a TV every week. Everyone loves a good Blight game, but I'm keen to see how these teams stack up. Now, it does seem to be leaning in Lirasan's favour in terms of tipping, which I'm not too surprised with. They do seem to be the somewhat stronger team versus KaitOkids, so I'm keen to see how this plays out, Hunter.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you're right. We haven't seen a lot of Plague throughout this whole entire season. And correct me if I'm wrong, Smunk, but I don't really think we've seen too many 4Ks neither. I mean, the survivors have been pretty competent on the side of whoever does pick the Plague. And we are going to be seeing Sentry now spawn in on the bottom side of the map and going to be vomiting on all these generators like clockwork, exactly how you start the Plague sets here. We do have Corrupt all the way at the top side of the map as well. So 4 generators on the top side. It is equally split, I would say. We've definitely seen some RNG where it's been immensely worse, but nevertheless, we'll be seeing White just kind of stealth here over at 11 and followed by our Nia over there towards the main building, and we're just struggling to find someone at the moment. So the survivors, considering it's a choke map, have done really well to stealth out the killer at the moment. We are waiting patiently just over some vomited generators over at the bottom side on the side of our Nancy, and now Sentry just going to be still looming and trying to see if he can find his first chase of the match and get things underway. He is struggling a little bit because he is just running into where nobody is at the moment. Actually, I do think that the ace is here. I do think Quinn did rotate towards his 4 to 5 side, as we would have seen. And yeah, he is just behind one of the rocks over in the edge map. 2 teacher just on the opposite side, more towards the 7 portion of the map. This is looking pretty dire for Sentry at the moment. I mean, we're already 3/4 away, gone with the Corrupt. So, I mean, definitely not the start that you want here, Smunk.
Not really. We do find State Naros, who has been playing aggressively with his no middle there, because he could just, do a bit of pressure on that generator, then rotate over to the main building, and if Plague decides to commit there, then she gives up sort of all the bottom generators to the survivors. And yeah, survivors doing a good job here waiting at Corrupt. Is it something you see pretty often? Ooh, nearly catching out Queener there, just lurking by that little god rock. But as per the build, we do find 2 teacher here, Nancy at the shack, so we'll be able to get maybe some infection going there. But no, it seems that 2 teachers somewhat invaded Sentry at the moment, but looking at the build, we do have Eruption, which is pretty stock standard, all things considered, on basically every set. Painter's Corrupted. We do have Thanatophobia, which is a curious pick. We're playing very aggressively with this red puke, by the way. We know State Norris is playing aggressively on this generator. We're pulling the puke nice and early, hoping to get an early down and just get a hook maybe somewhere mid where that Pain Res was, but State Norris, knowing that the red puke is active. We also have another one at main building as well. We brought our Corrupted Apple, so we do have one more pool available to us, and we're using our balance line to just try and get the hell out of dodge there and not get any red puke to the face. Now, I'm curious to see if Sentry's able to get a quick little hit over this part, but no, Steinaris is far too has way too much distance there to have any effect. But he's also just in chase, so just going to be rotating to the back of main now, and I think we're just sort of conceding to maybe die corner, because this red puke is going to be in problems if we do get caught. And we get caught out by this rock, we duck the puke, not able to find a tag there, and we just monkey swing through with red puke. That's such a ballsy play, but it pays off in a down. It does cancel our red puke, but we got the down within our 4gen on a pain run. So this is looking pretty good for our killer here, with only a couple generators being progressed, and one of them, and the most done generator also being halfway. We do have White lurking nearby for the pull here, but with Thanatophobia being in play, of course, we know that with the rework some time ago, playing Red Puke again, playing super aggressively here, just trying to snowball into control maybe, and Thanatophobia on the Plague set, it's not a strong slowdown effect when you've only got 3 people. It's only like 6% or something. But when it's 4 people, it is like 22.5%, and that 4th person, it sort of forces that 4th person to play really slow and really different, where they have to stray away from the infection, because if they do get infected, they have to go around to the opposite side of the map, cleanse themselves, so that way everyone else can start doing gens more aggressively. And we do catch out Ace here, who's rotating down to the shack, and a decent strong start for our killer here, Hunter.
Yeah, I mean, it's turned on its head now. I did say that it was looking a little bit rough at the beginning of the game, but 2 quick downs is just going to pull that back into our killer's favor, which is really good on the side of Lirasanmarine. And now Sentry just getting this nice quick down here over on the 8 section of the map is going to take this hook over at the bottom side. So we're going to be interrupting these generators that have been working in the background. We did see the survivors 3 splitting just a little bit beforehand. It does seem to be like 7-4 and bottom mid as well, or top mid, sorry, rather. But we are going to be committing committing this chase onto Quinn now, who has been caught out around these generators being worked, and this is not the start you want for the survivors. Now everything has just kind of flipped on its head, and now Quinn just vaulting into the killer is going to be going down right next to an active generator that does seem to be like 4 to 5 pistons popping at the moment. We see White get the unhook in the background, so the survivors are really going to have to pull this back into their favor. And how are they going to do so? Well, they just have to kind of flip the map at this point, because now we got a nice basement hook here, and Sentries doesn't really have any reason to leave. He's interrupted the generators that have been done in the process, and all the survivors, I think they'll just be on the back foot here, just trying to probably reset over at the top side and now kind of flip the map. This is pretty ambitious for White to be working that generator, now blowing up the skill check as well. It's going to give our killer a notification there. He's going to be running all the way down to 4 now as well. So 7 to 4 kind of obsolete at the moment, and we did see someone on the top side just working that generator in the background. And shambles. Smonka would say this is shambles for a beginning.
Yeah, you got 4 infected survivors as well, so we're playing against 4 stacks of Thanatophobia, so 22.5% passive slowdown on every single action in the game at the moment. But 2 teachers, you can't be playing aggressively for this generator, man. You're right next to the basement. We do have live, but we sort of stagger ourselves a little bit, and we're trying to rotate away from the loop now, but thankfully our killer has decided to double back, and we have a nice cheeky little pallet here available to us, and we're just going to be playing a bit aggressively. Maybe this is a bit of a bait to try and get someone into the basement, but I know that our killer here, he's just keeping an eye on to see if anyone's rotating down. We do see Nancy going down in the background as White goes to rotate down for the pull onto Queena, who's in the basement, but this is going to result in White and Nancy being put in the basement, and this is looking like a very comfortable 4K territory for our killer here. Now, he doesn't even make the locker, so we can't even force locker, but we do get the pull. Thankfully, we're just going to get the quick hook here and then try and rotate back up the 2 teacher, but we should be able to get that pick up before Plague's able to get back to us in time. But this is a problem now. We have bugger all gen progress, and while Sentry has given up his fortune on the top side of the map, he's hooked in the middle of where the active gens were being worked on very early, so he's sort of regained that pressure in a way where he's giving up a really strong 4-gen in favor of keeping this sort of 3-gen at the bottom with less resources available to the survivors, and playing around a more 4K1, 4K2 result here. And he's not giving chase, he's playing super defensively, he's keeping an eye on his generators, making sure they're all aggressing and marked with eruption, etc. We find 2 survivors out of position here at the edge of the map, but we do have the mid-area paths to work with here, but no, we just got to be dying corner. Unfortunately, 2 teacher caught out again is going to be eating the dirt, and I dare say that's going to be another hook for our killer as we see White getting pulled in the background. No one's on generators, they're all regressing. We're fighting against 4 stacks of Bad Thana, and it's all coming apart here, Hunter.
Yeah, we are out of the basement though, so there is something in our favor on the side of the survivors, but we'll be taking this pain res on the side of our killer Sentry here to slow down the gens even more, and just to really touch up on those points of being caught out in the bottom side of the map. Yeah, you're right, you just can't be working those generators ever so aggressively because you're just tappable at that point. You're not able to really get a full health state here, and now Sentry knows he's just in such a power position, just being around this bottom side here, looking for anybody stealthing for the pull. This is going to be a very hard pull to get as well. We do spot someone playing aggressive on 7 once more, and once again we are in chase on the bottom side of the map, unable to really progress the game even further on the side of our survivors, and this is just going to be a quick down, unfortunately, on the side of White. And now all Sentry has to do is really camp out this state. Actually, we got the unhook in the background, so it's not too bad. I did miss that on the side of me. Nevertheless, we will be taking this hook onto White, so we're into repeat, rinse, repeat. As soon as we get an unhook, there is another down just happening over on the far side of the map. This is like looking like 4K2 territory, in all honesty. Like you said, that comfortable 4K coming in Smonk, I would say, but nevertheless, we have seen survivors pull it back from this position on 4th, so hopefully maybe KaitOkids can definitely do the same, and we do see some gen pressure in the background to kind of give that food for thought. Is Quinn just working a generator over at 10, just half progress, bottom mid more, so it's more central to the map. And yes, Sentry is just really showing why Lirasanmarine picked this killer. He's just playing incredible at the moment, being able to really hold the pressure and just, maintain it. He's just not losing any sort of chase. His success rate on everything he's doing is at least 90%. So, you got to give kudos to him, and it's just making really hard work for the survivors. Now, we do see just our stealth out near, ready for that pull over towards the 4 section of the map. Hopefully they don't get found, for God's sake. We definitely need these gens to pop, hopefully, to get it at least back to the 4K3 at the moment. And we do spot Stay Naros, unfortunately. Do we make this pull? I'm not too sure. This is going to be extremely close. I think we do, just barely, with resilience as well. And that is just going to be something in our favor. And our near Stay Naros is going to be going down. I do think they were the no-mither player, so he will opt to go back to pick this up and just hook straight away, as he does know it on the side of our killer here. And we do get a gen popped in the background, so It's all slowly falling back into our survivors. Hopefully we can chalk it back up to a 4K1 at the best case scenario here, Smonk.
Maybe. It's looking like 4K2. We don't have a tunnel out, of course, so we've still got 4 survivors on the board, but they're afflicted with max stacks of Thana, and they're not taking any cleansing because we don't want to give Sentry red puke at this point of the game. We just sort of want to power through Thana to maybe to the best of our ability. We also have 3 survivors now on Death Hook, so if you're going to chase anyone, it kind of has to be Quinn. You can't have anyone else taking chase unless you're like really confident at the main building or something, but we're going to be seeing another gen pop in the background there, 2 teachers gen ever so slowly, but yeah, once again, we have a survivor hooked in the 3 gen that we're trying to keep against Sentry. The side of the map's also very pale in terms of resources. Quinn is playing pretty aggressively for the generator over by 4 there, which is good. We see a gen popping in the background there, and we see White and Quinn also, I believe they're doubling the generator at 4 while we're just trying to confirm the kill on the Stainaro. So just trying to get... Oh no, this is 2 different generators that have decent progress. Okay, that's good. So we have the sort of mid generator and then the 4 generator slowly making a bit of progress there, and it looks like we're seeing a bit of a pre-leave there from Quinn as he knows that as soon as Stainaro dies, Sentry's going to be hauling us down to the generator to give it a quick kick, and then after that we're going to be rotating over to the mid to check on the mid gen. But again, we're fighting through 4 stacks of Thana. The one good thing about the death happening onto Stainaros here is no more 4 stacks of Thana, right? We're down to 3, which is the 6% slide down, which is a much more manageable to deal with. So the generated progress that we do actually make is going to be a lot more impactful and a lot more meaningful going forward. But we also have a very tight 3 gen where you're just sort of in an awkward position where you lose, the war of attrition, so to speak. We'll see some landing across so we know someone's nearby. We're going to be able to pop this mid-gen, actually, in our killer's face, which is huge for the side of KaitOkids. So bringing it down to the 4K1 win con, or 4K1 result, I should say, not the win con, but we're going to be taking the chase, it looks like, on 2 different survivors here, but... Yeah, KaitOkids doing a pretty good job of bringing this back here, and Sentry's sort of forced to play at the top side here, where there's a lot of resources abundantly available to him. We've got a nice little tag there onto White, not being caught out there, and it's going to be another death of the ball, bringing it down to a 2v1 at 1 generator remaining. Not looking good for KaitOkids, Hunter.
No, most definitely not. And their only hope here is if Sentry was to really overcommit here on the top side, while Quinn gets this gen on 7 side done. But I think Sentry definitely does know that. He definitely knows that having 3 generators all the way at the bottom side, he has 7, 5, and bottom mid. There's no way he's just going to let this go. He knows Quinn's working that. He's not going to monkey chase 2 teacher, and now he's going to be vaulting the window. And this is going to be a fairly quick and short chase, unfortunately, as we don't really have access to any resources here at the bottom side. As chase was taken here a little bit too early in the game. In a situation like this, you would have preferred to have at least 1 survivor left in the trial. It would have been a 3v1 at 1 gen remaining, the infamous scenario as we all know and love in the comp setting. So now only having 2 survivors and the chase being in the generators as well can only really facilitate the thought of it being a 4K1 at this point, which is kind of what we anticipated here, Smunk. Nevertheless, we taking chase onto Quinn once again. Playing the shack really nicely for what it's worth. There is no resource to be used, and I think he does make this window over the bottom mid side as well with these matchsticks, and does have this nice window to work here too. But Bloodlust is going to maybe get him in, and he's going to be making that as well from the window. My god, I didn't think he would actually make that, and Sentry just opting to leave this chase is kind of worried about his generators in the background. He spent a little too long, but 2 teacher just kind of been caught out at the choke point, wasn't really able to cross it out and get those generators pumping. Meanwhile, while this chase was happening, as the chase was also in the middle of the 3 gen, and now we're just going to go back on chase onto Quinn. We do know that we can afford to kind of commit this a little bit more. I wanted to say overcommit, but we are going to be able to commit this just a little bit longer, as we know there's no gen pressure in the background. And we are going to opt to slug this as well, go all the way back down to 7, make sure that generator doesn't pop so we can secure our 4K1-2 teacher. Preemptively leaving, knows that's the play, going to be hiding around the side of Shack that we're not going to be running into on the side of Sentry. We are going to be trying to stealth and run and walk away ever so sneakily, but we are going to be getting caught out on the side of 2 teacher. He's going to be taking this, what seems to be the final chase of this trial. We are going to be utilizing this log pallet, this log filler here. Getting mind gamed a little bit there too. No Mr. Killer heartbeat reading there for those who have watched the Rocket 1v1 tutorial, but we are going to be making away from that with Life vaulting that matchsticks all the way down to the top middle side of the map. So very nice stuff here from our survivors. And we're back up and running. So maybe we can see even a longer chase here. I mean, we're greeting this pallet on the side of 2 teacher playing ever so well, but we've kind of forced both survivors into the top side of the map. And it's just going to be very hard from here on out. They're really fighting for these last bit of crumbs. This fight to the very last moment, and now we're going to be still committing this chase onto Two Teacher, who's going to be going down over at corner 1, unfortunately. Quinn just caught out at corner 11. We are going for the slug once more, and Sentry is going to be trying to cut off Quinn, who's anticipated has gone all the way down to the 9 to 10 side, which would have been the case if we would have just hauled us towards the bottom side of the map, but knowing that there's no scratch marks here, hearing the last survivor over in the corner 11, which is Quinn, this will be what seems to be once more the final chase of the game if we're not able to skate away from this untouched and get the pickup once more to kind of prolong the game. But I think it's going to be rinse repeat from here, Smong.
Yeah, I think you just sort of get bloodlust to death at this part, no matter what happens, and we're just playing for the funsies now. Maybe Two Teacher can go for a little bit of a crawl down a shack somehow, but we still have plenty of resources on the side of the main building, so Sentry's not too bothered, though. No progress being made on any of the generators after all, but yeah, very well played from Sentry, and a decent comeback from KaitOkids, who was looking very dicey there. Could have potentially been a 4K2. Good cheeky little stun there onto the killer as well from Quinn as he tries to get his spin burst back at these rocks, and another nice sort of walkie stun champion line coming in there, able to hinder the killer. But with that, we should be able to walk enough to just get our spin burst back. But no, it's 99. We just need a little bit of patience, and we should be good to go. And we're off to the races, able to rotate back over and get another pickup with the Two Teacher. As we keep the game going, we're keeping the spirit alive, and Sentry is just having... Where were these chases much earlier in the game, ladies and gentlemen? And we see the light coming there from Two Teachers, able to make it all the way over to main. And with that, this chase happening at main once again, we might actually be able to... Stop it! Get down! My God! As we get the cheekiest tag I've ever seen in my life, and a bit of a champion light player there trying to leave scratch marks, but I think our blood will betray us a little bit, and we're looking out for the blood, and we do see it out the corner of our eye once again, finding Queen out the rocks, but we have a lot of connected parts here. We might just need to kick him and zone him back down to the bottom so that he's not able to rotate up and pick Two Teacher up for the 3rd time in this match. But no, the chase is still going now as we commit to Queen as much as we can, but finally finding the killing blow onto the side of the KaitOkids survivors. This will be a clean 4K1 playing result for Lirasanmarine, and if your Lirasanmarine survives, that's a very comfortable win con to play around, because average result for playing on this map, you're probably looking at like mid to low stages, honestly. So hopefully Lirasan's been practicing, because ideally we don't get a 4K1 Tycon. With the win con on Plague being Popple Gens is pretty easy, right? Like, all things considered, it's not that difficult at all. I think we will be seeing the Mori here coming on to Two Teacher. So very well played to Lirasanmarine, and a good effort from KaitOkids. Unfortunately, that early game just fell apart way too quickly for them, and they're just domino affected from there, with Sentry capitalizing on their mistakes. So very well. But that's a shame to not see those teams go through, because those teams were always a good watch. But especially Shinto, because they did such a good, start. Like, that's a new team, and they did a fantastic job, this season in their group. I think they were like one of the tops in their group, weren't they, Shinto? They were like, the 3rd in their group, and that group was no easy feat, all things considered. You had to go against Void and Source and Catjam, and not great. But it looks like we do have a DC, or we've just accidentally exited out of the Spectator. No, we have exited out of the Spectator. Okay, cool. Loading into the game, though, we have the yellow apple, not the green apple, which is the preferred one, I believe. My brain's... I can't tell. I can't remember which one. One of them is better than the other one. I think it's the yellow apple, because it doesn't spawn extra pool or something like that. Like, you only want the 1 extra, not the 2 extra, or something like that, because then there's less pools available. I forget. I haven't done a play in a long time, but we do have something different here, where we do have Cinder. You're not a caster, shush. Where we do have Eruption and Call of Brine instead of the Thanatophobia bit. So we're running Cobb instead of Thana, which I think is a more sensible thing, because I'm sure that KaitOkids probably expect Lirasan to sort of play around Thanatophobia a little bit more, and maybe Thanatophobia caught KaitOkids off guard a little bit. But we found a really early find here on Jake, which is not the top start you want to get, and a quick little infect there. We're just going to come into the chase here, but using a resource very liberally as well. We're getting cheeky mind games, but no, we're playing it very patiently, and we're going for a cheeky swing, but doesn't make it, as Sakuda does a nice greed there, but we're just coming into it as the play, trying to get that picture, maybe get the infection up to get a quick down, but no, we're just going to take the infection and bugger off and find someone else. As I dare say the survivors on the side of Lirasan might have hopped on gens by now, as the infection will be wearing off, and the other add-on as well is just the amulet, which increases, crop purge duration, which we always see, and we do see some odors moving over here. So I think Queen is just going to be looking to try and get as many survivors infected as possible. Oh, we just saw a mate! Open your bloody eyes! The comp ace fit is too dark, as unfortunately we don't find the Russian ace lurking and stalking at the edge map there, and we just let him get away scot-free. That's unfortunate, Queener.
from Russia with love. There's no way he wasn't able to see that ace of stealth corner there. That's crazy. But Quinn now going to be going all the way to the top side, vomiting all these generators here. He's still got Corrupt in play, and it's going to be going ever so soon now. Sakuta's still not injured from the infection rate here, playing very slowly. The important thing to note, and we do have 3 healthy survivors who are probably all at the bottom side at the moment, as we haven't really spotted anybody out here at the top side on the side of Quinn, and he knows that he's just going to be going back to that choke point. And if we look at his gen spread here, though, it's more favorable to hold on the top side as to oppose of last game. It's not as fast spread on the bottom side, and now going to be taking chase back onto our ace here, who will be pre-dropping that pallet. The stealth god himself now going all the way to these rocks here. No pallet just to be used there, but is able to buy enough distance to go all the way down to the left side of the map, more towards 8, 9, 10. We do spot out our Claudette here, just kind of stealthing out, but not quite doing it effectively, getting caught out, and now going to be getting this infection rate very nicely on the side of Quinn to be able to get that injure nice and quick before the pallet, unfortunately not coming in. We are going to be still on the full health state on the side of our Claudette. Going to be trying to use that life and that dumb tech coming in all the way down to the 3 side, where there's no one working this 3 generator, thank the Lord. We do hear a little bit of progress on there, but I think that was left long ago, and now going to be eating this down, unfortunately, on the side of our Claudette, and that will be the first stage of the game, that first hook of the game, rather. We do see some adequate gen pressure in the background on the bottom side as well, so all that time spent on the top side was just allowing our survivors to rotate all the way bottom and get those gens done, and the pain raise is going to slow this down a little bit. Survivors picking up onto that as well. We're hopping off 7 on the side of our Tori, Kane, N, and we are just pumping that away on the side of Sakuta over at 5, who is going to be getting that gen popped just before it's interrupted. It actually wasn't going to get interrupted, so we've opted to go to the top side and try to maintain this really nice, what seems to be a damn 5 gen here. So we do have red power in hand at the moment. What can we do with it? We are going to probably just force second stage onto our survivor on the hook, maybe, and Ace just pre-dropping this pallet very preemptively there, getting a little bit panicky, and our killers has had none of it and has just gone back on gen patrol. And again, the game stayed a little bit stagnant here. The hook being in between all the generators at the moment is going to allow our killer to just put immense pressure here, Smonk.
Yeah, it's definitely. I was gonna say it's a really good start for the Lirasan survivors, but looking at the gen spread now, I'm actually paying attention to it. A very deadly split, all things considered as well. We've also pulled our puke early just to try and commit the kill, because of course the 70-second hook stages and I believe 70-second red puke when by the time you do pull it with the purple add-on, so it kind of just condemns whoever's on the hook to death, because you can't play aggressively for a pull, so you can kind of just chill out, may force them to go second, and then, they just kind of die, which is awesome. So we're forcing our micro bug there to go to second as well, as we're just playing our eruption. And we know that our team captain up the top here is trying to play aggressive for these main building generators. We saw him gaze into his crystal ball and pre-drop that pallet for a chase that's going to be happening in about 5 minutes. But he's trying to just crank that motor there at main, and I don't think Queen is caught on, but we're going for a pre-puke there, but not quite able to make it. This might get a tag onto our team captain, and we do take the hit, but no, we don't get that down as we see the pull coming in the background there onto a micro bug. I believe that was Sakuta getting that pull as we just go apply our Call the Brine eruption on this generator as well. We'll see N as well playing aggressive for a separate generator. So we have 2 generators really high prog on the side of the main building here. And while we don't get a ton onto micro bug, we are able to pull out Pukey and maybe try and get a quick little down onto the ace. But we've sort of lost track of the ace a little bit, as I believe he's just sort of lurking by this corner. But N is nearby, near the active generator. He might get caught out in this stealth, but we're too busy checking the edge map to try and find him at the tile, and I do believe we've just found on the tile a little bit of a moonwalk here. Unfortunately, the red puke physics are absolute dog shit, so we're not going to be able to get that tag with the red puke. We've still got plenty of time, though, so no need to rush it. We can't get stunned as well, because if we get stunned, we lose our red power, so we're going to be respecting that like we respect the rules and regulations of the country we live in, and we do get an M1 there onto N, and I don't think this red puke's going to do us any favors. This loop is just too awkward to use our red puke out, and I think at some point we just got to monkey it and just go for a swing, and we get that swing there. Eruption spreading out through the rest of our generators. We just go for a pick there onto N, hopefully onto a pain res as well amidst our generators, and we're kind of at the if you're playing around a 4K2 win-con, this is kind of what you need, right? You need to play the slow game, play very controlling, get rid of strong resources. We did just use our last red puke, though, so unless this 5 start pulling puke, which they have started cleansing at the bottom of the shack side of the map, so that's good for us. We find Jake as well, rotating around to the shack side of the map. We have a few seconds left on the red puke. Are we able to LeBron it over the logs, maybe get a bit of gravity going? But no, we're not able to get that pull, and any tags there with the remaining little granules of red puke there, but we do find something with scratch marks here, and this might be micro bug, and it is micro bug. We need this man dead, and we need him dead right now, but we have so many resources available to us, it's going to be a bit hard to do that, Hunter.
I was about to say, if there's one survivor you can't afford to be given tags and can't afford to go down, it is Microbug, who is our tunnel out here, and just eating that tag and just making away from the chase as well is really good in the side of our survivors. Quinn's just going to go back onto Gen Patrol. Yeah, really wants to hold these generators. Like you said, is really trying to pull back to that high generator 4K, 4K3, 4K2, but we're going to be taking chase back onto our captain, Chinese Ronaldo himself, who's just going to be making do of this window here, and I don't think we've thrown we have thrown the pallet, unfortunately, so we're going to go all the way down to corner 1 and try to make work of this last filler here. There's nothing in our vicinity, and we know that from via windows of opportunity. We are going to be faking that very nicely, and Quinn is just going to be swinging thin out, unfortunately. Do we make the Z-wall? No, we are going to be going down, unfortunately, at the window. Just not what you want on the side of our survivors. We are 3-splitting the generators, though, or it seems that we're 3-splitting the generators, so we are getting some heavy progress in the background, which does seem to be very good. And I don't think he's been put here, so this will be a pain in us to slow that down even further. Even more generator progress here on the backside of main too. So, on paper, it doesn't look too crash hot, but the survivors are doing their bits and pieces in the background as we currently flick between POVs of the killer and the survivors, and now N just going to be pre-leaving that generator here. Quinn going to be going on Gen Patrol, going to be trying to cut off anybody going for that save at the moment. It is very far in that corner. It's going to be a mission, Operation Save the captain here, protect the president. Quinn just going to be once more kicking that generator, and he can't afford to give up any other one if he is going to take home this set. The survivors, knowing that as well, will probably just want to get one done at the very least to meet the tie condition. From this point on, I think at this stage of the game, with what we're given with 4 hooks, with 3 fresh at the moment, and the amount of gen pressure on the map, it can really go either way. I think this next chase will really dictate how the match really pans out, and now we are going to be taking chase back onto the captain, who just came off of the hook. It is Chinese Ronaldo, Royce Su, who's going to be going all the way, wrapping back on the backside of main, but we know these generators are way too far progressed in the background, so we're not going to opt to chase that. We're going to be trying to go for somebody else who's injured. There are 2 survivors here over at 10, and they're going to be going down, unfortunately, on the side of N. It's not what you want, just right in front of the generators as well, and we do see more scratch marks leading towards the middle side of the map, and we're going to be opting to slug here. Very interesting plays and trying to get this tunnel out as soon as possible, but I don't think we're going to be doing it anytime soon. And now we're going to be going all the way down to 3 on the side of Quinn, who's going to be trying to mind game this half wall here, doing very nicely. Yeah, we're going to be able to fall for it on the side of our survivors, playing the check spots very nicely. Going to be faking that window too, running all the way down to the bot side, or opting not even to fake the window, just holding W rather, and that's going to be another gen lost in the background. Unfortunately, all this pressure has just fallen through the fingers of Quinn. He's not really able to really keep on top of this, and there is a 4v1 at 1 generator remaining. No tunnel out here yet, and he is missing that as well. He's able to make that on the side of Sakuda, who's going to be trying to run around it once more over at that top mid, that tile, sorry. Now Quinn just going to be going all the way back down to where these two survivors were working this generator over at the 10 side. Nothing to really work with here on the side of N, who's just going to be going down in the corner, unfortunately. But we do see enough generator progress in the background to facilitate the win for Lirasanmarine for this first set taken home. It is 1-0 as it currently stands.
Yeah, very well played from Lirasan survivors there. Jake just kind of parrying that M1. That was cheeky. I don't know about that one. That looked like a scam to me. I want a refund on that fucking tag, but we do see that the cleansers coming through now that it's an endgame. It was looking a bit scary, for the Lirasan survivors. Quinn was really capitalizing on a lot of mistakes being made, as well as just, really, playing around his 5-gen extremely well, but it's war of attrition. You're bound to lose if you still got 4 survivors up in it. You kind of just needed to camp Microbug to death while you still had access to so many generators. And we're seeing the pull happening through there on, and we're trying to commit the chase on the Claude as she does bolt into us there to get a bit of a speed boost with our live and with no red puke available to us. This will be the 4-man out. I believe this is going to be a 3 fresh 5, I believe so, 3 fresh 6, something like that. As we see all 4 survivors.
Flicking curve, often really compared to Boosted. I think they did have like a Hillbilly set. Oh my god, we've already found someone straight off the rip. And we're going to be taking chase onto N, who's just going to be making work of this main building right off the rip here. 2 teacher going to be reading that double vault in very nicely, but unfortunately no down there. This is our balanced player who's going to be making distance all the way down to bottom mid once more. Going to be pre-dropping that pallet just in front of main. And this is very dangerous now that we are in the blue sword. We're colliding into things on the side of 2Teacher. We need to be playing a little bit more patient and just try to recollect, stay calm, and just actually playing this very well. I mean, going to be vaulting that window back into main is going all the way down to mid 9, where there's this nice filler pallet once more. Blue sword just going away at the most inconvenient of times as well, and we're going to be able to make distance on the side of N once more. Just having an absolute crazy chase. Feels like I'm watching a 1v1 at the moment, where I'm watching the fight for top position, where I think this has actually been like more along the side of 50 seconds to a minute now, with no down on the Billy set as well. And with all that being done over at that bottom side, that chase happening, I thought there would have been a little bit more gen pressure, maybe even a pop here for a 2-1 split, but maybe we're going for a 3 split of some sort, or maybe it took us a little bit too long, to rotate all the way down to the other side of where the uncorrupted generators are. But we do see the pop in the background as I'm yapping bullshit, and we are going to be committing chase back onto Chinese Ronaldo, who's going to be making work of these T and Ls over at the bottom of the, the top of the map rather. We're going to be trying to 360 the chainsaw, but I think we're a little too experienced for that on the side of 2Teacher. None of the sort going to be happening today. We do see Sentry setting up for the deli save onto Royces. And yeah, pretty good start here for the side of our survivors here, Smong.
Yeah, there was a really good chase at the start there from N as well. We do find caught out once again at main building. Wretched Fate doing basically nothing, getting found and popped immediately. So we have a dead perk on our hands as well. Ruin is still active though, and it's at its 150% speed as well. We see the deli save coming through now nice and early as we take the chase here onto Chinese Ronaldo. He's got this really nice new jungle gym here. We also see our Ruin within this jungle gym. So if we're able to get it down in this sort of area, we're able to keep our Ruin up as well to keep an eye on it. And also going to be trying to play around these ties here with that store, but we get the cheeky little pre-throw coming in. 2Teachers, just unfortunately, that's parts made of steel, unfortunately, mate. Try again as we continue the chase onto Chinese Ronaldo. He's able to get away from all those 2B pop generators and over to an area where there's already been gens popped as well as a good bit of resources. So we're able to take a chase in a really nice area for us, and it's looking really bad for 2Teacher, but a nice curve coming in. Unfortunately, he goes a bit too wide. It was a good decision too, because Royce did go wide there, but unfortunately we went a bit too wide on our sword there. Quite panning out for us. We go for another curve and it collides. 2Teacher, sorry, Royce going down there, getting expedited to his death. Look, as another gen does pop in the background there. And he's going to have to try and hook closer to these active generators, as this is sort of the area that you want to be, but he's not able to get to a more aggressive hook, I suppose, that you would say, you know, trying to get a hook next to, you know, your Ruin Totem or your active generators or something like that. But with the Hillbilly, you have so much mobility, it doesn't really matter too much. We're going to be seeing another gen pop in the background there as, well, it's about to pop in the background as, Claudie does get it there. But, we find it end now once again. Well, this is our balanced landing player at the main building, so he has plenty of time to sort of rotate up to the top there and jump down. But no, he's opting instead to just hold W away from the main building there as he finds another pallet within vaulting distance, and he goes down to the shack and tries to kite the Billy away from the active generators and the hook, but unfortunately it doesn't work there as once again we see N trying to bait chase here, and it is working. We're playing a little bit active, and I believe we just saw Sentry get off his generator, which probably means he's coming in for the save onto Royce at any moment now, but Billy's going back for it, trying to go for a cutoff. Has he found Dwight? He has found Dwight. Scratches lingering nearby. He has the blue sword though, so he might be able to get it down, but oh no, it looks like Dwight's actually been cut off here. Sentry is trying to take the chase, but unfortunately he doesn't have any resources here. But I think maybe Quinn's just trying to Tucci's trying to get the down there, and if you just look to his right, he might have been able to down Dwight there, but no, unfortunately we do collide with the in progress unhook there onto Royce, and we get the champion alive as well at the power. This is going to allow Ace to go all the way down to the shack side of the map and die out of the generators, and this is a fantastic shot from Lirasanmarine, but we get caught out there. 2Teacher able to find the sniper to Royce, and this is the expedited death you want to see at this point of the game. But we're about to see another gen pop in the background. We're down to one generator with only 3 hooks on the board, Hunter.
Not looking good for our killer here. I mean, in all honesty, I want to chalk it down to the fact that we haven't brought in a comfort perk of some sort. Obviously, the main one being Bamboozle for the Billy, which is why just main is just being able to be really worked around on the side of our survivors. You saw just that window get immense value about 3 times in the trial already for how short it's been, but nevertheless, we'll be taking chase back on to Microbug, who's just going to be barely making that window by the skin of his teeth, and now going all the way down to the shack side, and 2Teacher's going to want to have none of it. He's going to opt to go back on Jet Patrol, as there is only 3 generators remaining in this trial, all around the top side as well. And we do spot out Sentry, who has been working this 12 generator very sneakily, but not sneakily enough. He's going to have to play around the Z-wall as well and play the mind games. How the fuck have we done that? That's crazy. He's a slow vaulted the Z-wall in front of my face, and we've just kind of escaped the FOV of our killer there. Going to be slapping the pallet in his face too. Going to be making this window and vaulting it very nicely. Going to be breaking line of sight. And Two Teacher's going to want to have none of that as well. He's going to be going all the way to the top side. And I did lie to you guys thinking that all the generators were in a cluster. They are not. They are so far spread. There's one over at Shack, one over at 12. So that just means I think that our Dwight there is going to be going all the way down back to the top side, be working that generator over at the bus while we take chase here over at the bottom side. And that top side survivor, he's a deli player as well. So Trouble's team at the moment, but we're going to be spotting out Microbug just kind of out of position. No slug happening there, so no myth, they're not going to be able to take effect. We do see one of our survivors kind of shit scared over in the basement, hiding in the locker, ready for this pull. We do have Deliverance on the other side of the map as well, so no matter where you go on the side of Two Teacher at the moment, you're kind of screwed. We are going to be going straight to the top side though, so this is going to be a quick snipe onto that pull from the basement. And we have just kind of faked it on the side of Two Teacher as well. So are we going to able to catch our Jake out of position? We'll just have to kind of wait and see here. Two Teacher going all the way back down to the hook, as you would have presumed that would have been happening. The filler pallet going to be used here on the side of our Jake, who's going to be slapping it. Not frame perfect, so not getting that stun, unfortunately. Going to be playing the filler pallets here over at that bottom midsection. Going to have to make another filler pallet, and he does. He has a very nice one here, so the buff's coming into our advantage here on the side of Lirasanmarine survivors. And we are going to be running into a rock and trying to juice the barrel to our effective advantage by going down before we make the pallet. Two Teacher going to be slugging this. No time to waste, going all the way back down to 12 to our deli survivor, who is just going to be sprint bursting away, or actually not sprint bursting away, but rather just pre-leaving. Got sprint burst 99 in hand to make a good chase over at that 11 side, which is exactly what you need on the side of survivors. But Two Teacher going to be going back and playing it safe, going to be trying to catch someone out, working the Shack generator. They know they're not going to go for that, because it was the... no, wait, was that the unbreakable play? That was the unbreakable play in effect. Yeah, it was. And we are going to be able to commit Microbug. That happened underneath my nose. I would have never have thought that. I didn't look at the avatars there. Crucify me. But nevertheless, we are going to be going back over to the 12 section of the map where our Dwight has used Sprint Burst this time to get into a more favorable position over at that one side with that drop broken pallet here. Two Teacher knows it sees the scratch marks leading in there. And I did think we caught a glimpse of line of sight for just a split second there where Sentry's going to be trying to make do of this window. We do get the generator in the background popped. I'm not too sure if that was Shack. I do believe that was Shack just being doubled straight off the rip. A Microbug going to be splitting gates with our Jake there. And unfortunately, Sentry just going to be going down here. Does have Deliverance in his back pocket, so it just really depends where he gets hooked here. But Two Teacher knows it's going to be trying to force these survivors out the gate as soon as possible to make sure that Deli doesn't mean shit. And we do see that we have caught out our Jake N here. He's going to be having to use this window. So after that gate gets done over on the side of our Claudette there, Microbug, he's going to have to go back for the pickup onto Sentry. And Two Teacher has to really last in this chase now over at the Shack side of the map here. Does have this nice hill to work with and balanced landing in the back pocket, and he is away for the 1v1 once more. He was the first in chase and maybe the last in chase if our killer commits this, but doesn't. Goes all the way back down to the slug. And just holding the game just a little bit. Does he really have it in his grasp? We don't really know. Got to get the pickup on the side of our Claudette here. Microbug, who is probably the survivor you don't want in this position. You do want either Sentry or N. But unfortunately, Sentry having Deliverance in the back pocket is just detrimental to our killer. And just going to go down there on the side of Microbug. I think they just got to take these two out. See a fresh smonk.
Yeah, I was hoping that Microbug would have used his Dead Hard, which he did have in his pocket. But we're just going to be slugging the No Mither player, which is a curious choice. And we can't really do that for too long, but we need to pray that we find someone at this edge map. Maybe trying to keep an eye for a reset, but we have N already in there. Execute Sentry nearby as well. He's chilling out at main, sticking around for a little bit. He's just got to try and make a break for it over to a gate. But I think we do see Microbug in the background. They're picking themselves up with No Mither, rotating back down towards the bottom side of the map. I'm not too sure why he's sort of rotating away from the gates, unless I'm just not understanding the map layout correctly, but we do get a pre-throw there on a filler pass. We rotate down towards main building here. Maybe trying to go for a cheeky little hatch play, but We see Sentry as well, likely already at the door. We see him going out of the door now. Hatch is available to us if we want to take it. But we're just hauling us down to Shack, but we don't make it. We got to hit it dead hard. 2Teacher might not be aware of the dead hard in Micro Bug's pocket as he's just holding W. He's got to try and make a break for it. Go for the swing, big man. He's waiting for it. He's patient parry. He goes for it. Oh, he gets hit. That's going to be a 4-2 result there.
3-stage win con that they're given. They can't afford to give 4 to 5 stages because the moment they give 4 stages, they lose just based on the penalty. So obviously that is your PSA, guys, to please be checking your builds and make sure that they're all up to date. Obviously back now with Balance by Daylight, we have the accessibility to Balance by Daylight. Make sure that you're making screenshots on the day to make sure that the balancing is all up to date. You don't want to be using old screenshots and then finding something spammed or whatever the hell. So nevertheless, I do have faith in KaitOkids. You know, their survivor lineup is pretty good. I mean, their game plan is the only issue here. It's such a shallow win con that you have to play so aggressive to actually meet. It's crazy. I mean, you're not just going to be looping a Billy here for 3 to 5 minutes. You definitely could, but everything would have to spiral out of control, and I don't think Sakura's going to allow that to happen. You need to be playing the flashlight saves, pallet saves, everything you can to kind of preserve the stages, all the more meanwhile in the background getting those generators pumped with the other 2 survivors. We do manage to catch out our Nomi the survivor here for the first and chase, kind of zoned into the 11 corner, but unzoning themselves all the way down to 10, going to be greening this pallet very nicely on the side of Stay Naros here, and now our Billy with Blue Saw in hand. I think this is going to be a very quick down, which isn't what you want on the side of our survivors here. I am joking just a little bit. I don't think we make this pallet, though. We're just going to be going M1 down, unfortunately. Is there anybody for a pallet save like I would have presumed? No, we've gone for the 3 split here, so that's already 1 stage gone here, Smonk.
Yeah, we're going for the 3 split. We have someone looking for Deli as well. We have 1 here. We only have 1 gen as well cranking in the background. Queen's only just got on a gen just now. Well, we also have Ruin as well. It's going to be a pain in our ass here. And Pensamento, so if Ruin gets popped, we're going to have to deal with the Penti in the background too. So it's not looking good for the survivors. We get a very quick pull there and Stay Narrows there, just trying to get our Deli nice and early on in the game, and I don't even think Scooter's worried about telling him out, because he just got to go 4 stage right, like he just finds someone else and then just camp him to death and you kind of win. And we have the one a decently high progress gen being worked here, so we know that this is 2Teacher lurking nearby, Billy from the previous game, and we're holding the checkies. Billy go for a cheeky vault there. I don't think we have Bamboozle though on his end, so thankfully 2Teacher not getting found as forces Security to rotate away and try and find someone else, but we find I think we have Quinn working a generator near here. I believe he was in the hill gen just over here, so if he's able to find Quinn nearby, but no, KaitOkids doing a really good job stealthing out, and this is kind of what you want, right? Like, oh, we get jump scared by Aces Gonti as we do get the stun there from Quinn, so he's able to rotate away. I believe he's just smash it and or sprint burst as well, so we're going to be baiting out the sword and then just going up to the hill. This is actually our bounce landing player. Maybe I'm talking a bunch of shit, and I am talking a bunch of shit because this is our bounce landing player. Now, all Skidder needs to do is get the down onto Quinn here and then just camp him out to death. But Quinn doing a really good job of just shift Wing, putting a lot of objects between himself and the Billy. But he's at the car out now. This is one of those tiles you don't really want to be against the Billy on these tiles because it's really easy to curve around it. And I do believe he's going to try and go wide, and Sakura predicts that, and we're just going to find our saw in the back of Quinn's back there. Unfortunately, that will be the second first hook of the game. Now, all he needs to do was camp this out. But we were going to hook him right next to an active gen, but thankfully 2Teachers is able to pop it before that hook comes through. But hopefully we see a couple other gens working in the back now because we're really going to start working the motors. We do see another gen here. We have three different gens about to pop, so we're actually on track to maybe try to 3-stage potentially. You know, we can't really afford to get a new hook right now, I think, as we do see 2 gens popping in the background there. We find 2Teachers as well at this long wall jungle gym, but we're going to be taking that line and trying to rotate away over back down to the shack pad here. We have a good bit of resources nearby as well. We go before a cheeky little pre-drop, able to vault that, but we're looping right next to the hook here. We need to try and zone ourselves away from this area as Sakura's try to also break the power, go for maybe a cheeky curve, but no, we're not able to find any curves as we just go for the power break. And 2Teacher just trying to loop the Billy for as long as he humanly can, but he doesn't have any resources to work with here, and unfortunately we see Sakura missing that saw as Two teacher rotates back down to the shack with another little rock filler here. But this could be a potential curve, but no, he pre-throws the park, get the sword break, and I think we're going to be able to make the shack pallet as well. As Quinn gets poked in the background there, we see the cracker coming through there, pre-throwing the shack pallet as well, but we've got nothing to work with now here. We just kind of have our shack pallet and a dream, and we're going for a bit of a cheeky bolt there, but I think this gives Two Teacher enough space to rotate over to this window here. I don't think Billy's going to be able to collide with it as we do successfully zone Two Teacher away. We still have this pallet in this loop, thankfully, I do believe, but no, we're just going to be trying to play for the window, and we're being zoned away by the Billy, able to rotate back down over to this pallet, but we can't throw it because this is the last part in this area. We just got to just for as long as humanly possible, and KaitOkids are doing a decent job of building a bunch of time. We see two gens of decently high progress there. If Two Teachers able to go for a bit of a longer loop, this would be huge for him, but he doesn't have anything. We also bam on the side ability as Two Teacher rotates back up to another source, but unfortunately we get the blue sword just in time, able to collide
wait,
there.
the please!
But oh, Palatine, come on, run, you good thing! Yes! That's the type of momentum we need for KaitOkids to try and get the save, and we get the beamer save as well, but unfortunately we're blind, we can't find anyone. If we commit the chase with the Stain Arrows, we see the last gen pop, this could potentially be it, Hunter!
Maybe, just maybe, but we're getting caught out. Unfortunately, we're taking that dead hard as well from the side of Stain Arrows, who's one of the only hook survivors in this trial. All our killer needs to do is down one of the, the fresh survivors or something just to get those extra stages and can them now. We're going to be able to make the gate here. Stain Arrows on the floor. What does that put us at? That'll put us at 4 stages. If we are to take the hook and the death onto our survivor there. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit lost in my words. We need to calm down just a little bit on the side of both the survivors and the killer. The killer, very antsy here at the moment, could potentially lose it all if we're not careful. We're able to, wait, we just 360. We're able to make the gate on the side of our Jake here, but Two Teachers just kind of caught out. The gate's right there. If they escape, that's just all survivors out the door. That'll be the win con achieved. Our killer just holding this position here, very, very cautious. Two Teacher is gonna have to play this pallet, waiting for the light to come back. Again, once more, playing very patiently and trying to W away from that. If we're able to get our life back from that, that would have been huge. Would have just had to hear for the chainsaw to be revved up and then just kind of life into the doorway. Are we going to take this Wait, no, there's no way they've all made it out. He's already all the way over down to 12. Going to be faking it as well with line of sight. He stayed just at the pallet over at the half bus here, pre-dropping that in the process and getting caught out on the outside. It's going to be going down to Teacher. We are here for the save on the side of Stain Arrows with the flashlight in hand, with the pallet down as well. Going to be faking this window. No, going to be taking that vault and trying to get a last-minute beamer save, but we are going to be picking up on the side of our killer here. Two Teacher is going to be taking this Sakura's going to be taking this final hook onto Two Teacher here, which will put us at 3-2 at the moment. We need to get this hook and we need to get it quick, because the moment we do, we are out the doors and we are gone, and we've taken home the set just based off of hooks alone. We are half the stage in front of the killer at the moment, and we're just revving up chainsaw, wait for somebody to come in for a save to go get hit down. This is going to be very hard for the side of our survivors to do. We do get the pull, the down coming in on the side of our killer, getting this pick up. And that's going to be game over 4-3. Beating them by half a stage in terms of hooks, but also beating them on fresh hook spunk if they weren't to get penalized. Absolute tragedy. Lirasanmarine will be taking it home tonight.
Even then, Stain Arrows does die on a hook, and we get more than 4 stages anyway, because we hooked Ace earlier in the game as well, so we have 3. I think this is 3-5. My God. That was looking real fucking close, man. That was looking real scary for the side of Lirasan. We nearly had a huge comeback from KaitOkids. It was just within grasp. It was right out of reach, and they were able to rip it. Thankfully, Lirasan was able to rip it out of their hands and secure a clean 2-0 victory. But my God, what a fantastic survivor game from KaitOkids. They just were on the money, They were on it. They knew what they had to do, and they strived to do it to the best of their ability. But unfortunately, the end game, it just wasn't quite there. We had a nice save there coming from Stain Arrows on the power save, able to get Two Teacher all the way up to the gate, but couldn't get the gate open in time to get them all throughout the door. So big W to Lirasanmarine. What a fantastic set to cast. Unfortunately, that was the last one. That's it we got for tonight. We'll be seeing you next week. Hunter, do you want to take us out here, man? It's been good casting with you.
No, 100% it has been good to cast these games with you too, Smunk. They have been exhilarating, but to reiterate for you guys, we'll be back with next week. Obviously, that was our last game, of the week. So next week, we'll be there with match 1, Gospel vs. Source, match 2, Zetsubo vs. Forsaken, match 3, Leopard vs. Bleeder, and match 4, Void vs. Lirasanmarine. Pick and bans obviously have to be done for those over the course of tonight and tomorrow. Please stay tuned for those. They will be posted in the Discord when ready. And yeah, get excited for some week 2 finals. We'll be versing the top dogs as well next week. That's crazy. 4 teams that were just able to really kind of skip week 1 and go straight to week 2 as per the tournament. But nevertheless, once again, been good casting with this Monk. Big good being here, OSL. We are going to be rating out. That's going to be a secret on who we're rating out. No, lol jokes, is going to be Hez. But nevertheless, we'll see you next week. Take it easy, stay safe, and peace out.